What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I didn't do much today. Ate some more chili. I've been tearing my chili up. I normally don't eat leftovers this long, but it's been pretty good. And just worked out today and started watching this show called The Sympathizer on HBO. It's alright. So still a drought in the show. I'm still mad about House of Dragons and how terrible it was. And it really makes you appreciate how good Game of Thrones was. Because Game of Thrones, something was always happening. And then we get to this House of Dragons. It's just like, wow. But other than that, y'all, I really don't have anything exciting to talk about. So let's get into this news. Harris campaign expected to announce running mate Tuesday. Yeah, it is Monday. She didn't even say nothing. I know, I just said it's Happy Tuesday. When I'm talking to y'all, it's going into Tuesday, because I talk to y'all at night. But, yeah, so it's basically my Tuesday / Monday. Hurricane Debbie blows cocaine worth over $1 billion onto a Florida beach by the Keys. Boy, that's when everything gets unraveled. Lung cancer screenings save lives, but are unfamiliar to most. Criminals are targeting students with these common back-to-school scams. Watch out for back-to-school scams. Sea lions with domoic acid poisoning rescued from Ventura and Santa Barbara. There's a lot of run clubs going on lately. And people are ditching the dating apps and going for a run. Saying, I'm single, run with me. Rockstar reptile breeder unalived, coroner says this is what was not just a random act. CrowdStrike says it isn't to blame for Delta Airlines flight chaos. States that ban or restrict abortions have flooded anti-abortion counseling centers with nearly $500 million in taxpayer funding since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade 2 years ago. American-born pole vaulter Armand Mondo broke a world record for a 9th time at the Paris Olympics on Monday and brought home a gold medal for Sweden. Neither the threat of wildfires nor catastrophic flooding have kept thousands of Americans from migrating to locations in Texas and Florida, where extreme weather-related disasters are causing increasing damage year after year. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken calls on the Middle East parties to take steps to ease the tensions. U.S. personnel were reported injured in a suspected rocket attack on a military base in Iraq. As Kamala Harris nears the announcement of her running mate, what are Democrats looking for in a VP pick? Could the Fed enact an emergency rate cut before its next meeting? I wish they would, because I heard the Dow dropped some today. Let's see. My music stopped. And that I just can't have. Jenna Ellis, a former legal advisor for Donald Trump's 2020 presidential campaign, reached a cooperation agreement with Arizona prosecutors related to the alleged efforts to subvert President Biden's 2020 election. Let's see. Dow Jones Industrial Average has plunged more than 1,000 points amid growing fears of an economic downturn. The children of a Russian spy couple only learned their true nationality on their flight to Moscow on Friday, following a historic prisoner swap involving the U.S. The children's parents had been convicted of espionage by a Slovenian court a day earlier. They freed them. They didn't even know they was over here. Greenland has melted before, and as far as the climate warms, it will melt again, this time leading to what scientists warn could be 20 to 25 feet of sea level rise. The UN says it has hired 9 staffers from its agency for Palestinian refugees known as UNRWA after an internal investigation found that they may have been involved in a Hamas-led attack on October 7th. Oh, it's fired 9 of them. A massive crowd of protesters swarmed Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's palace in Dhaka after she resigned and fled her residence Monday. Some people could be seen carrying looted items and even eating food from her home. Rivals have accused Wall Street darling Nvidia of abusing its market dominance in selling chips that power artificial intelligence, and the U.S. Department is now investigating these complaints. Google has maintained an illegal search engine monopoly, a judge rules in an antitrust case. Yeah, I mean, most people use Google now. It was back in the day I used to use Ask Jeeves or Yahoo, but Google is pretty much on the map. The U.S. is still winning in their Olympic medals. Some coastal areas from Georgia to Carolinas could see 30 inches of more rain this week as Tropical Storm Debbie continues to move inland. In the male-dominated sport of motorcycle racing, women are breaking ground thanks to a program dedicated to an all-female class of competitive racing. Alright. Kit Harington says his tech bro character on Industry is a posh idiot. So Industry is an actual show. I always thought it was a reality show. And y'all saying Jon Snow is on there? Maybe I might have to check it out. I'm running out of stuff to watch. U.S. is sending more warships to the Middle East due to the possibility of Iran attacking Israel. It comes as protests continue in Israel, where critics say Netanyahu is escalating a threat of regional war instead of securing the release of hostages in Gaza. What a mess we have over there and in Ukraine. In 1944, a U.S. World War II pilot crashed in England during a secret mission. A search for his remains has revealed new clues. 2 birders were rescued off the coast of Florida on Sunday after their 34-foot vessel lost its sail amid dangerous conditions brought on by Debbie, then a tropical storm. What was y'all doing out there is my question. Charles Schwab Fidelity Investments and Vanguard are among online brokers down on Monday amid global stock market rout. Not shocking. Authorities unalived a large crocodile thought responsible for Australia's second fatal attack in a month. Alright, I think we may be caught up. See what I like down here. Nothing. I didn't like anything today. I haven't been on Twitter like that today though. Let's see what TMZ got going on. Zac Efron's swimming pool dive gone wrong. He hit the bottom in digested water. Zac can't catch a break between messing up his face in a car wreck and this. Rihanna is out at the carnival. She was all dressed up. Some people are saying she's pregnant again, but I don't think she is. David Lynch, I'll never retire despite ill health. Ex-Secret Service director wanted cocaine found at the White House destroyed. What? They about to really throw this lady under the bus. Harrison Butker becomes the highest paid NFL kicker in history with a new extension. Not history, but he's the highest paid. Donald Trump is walking out to many men, no matter what Digga thinks. Robert F. Kennedy won't be charged with dumping a bear. Billy Ray Cyrus, I'm officially divorced from Fire Rose. Her insane scam is over. You married her, Billy. You married her. Serena Williams rips a Paris hotel. You really going to reject me? They said, Serena, you can't bring them children up in here, girl. No matter how rich you are. They said, no, ma'am. No children allowed. Rapper T.I. arrested in an airport in a case of mistaken identity. Leonardo DiCaprio got stung by a jellyfish on his buttocks. Leonardo just be living his best life. He really do. He'll post something about the environment and then he's off to do whatever he's doing. So the guy who knocked the pole down with his junk is offered $250,000 from a corn site. They said, show your pole skills on camera. They're making money off of them. Jennifer Lopez is ringless for her $68 million LA mansion tour. Y'all think J-Lo gonna get married again? Yes. So I got this in my story time of what's going on, but Kaylani, the singer, her baby daddy wants full custody, fears her daughter is a victim of a s3x cult. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I hope that's not the case, but Kalani is a strange bird. Alright, I think we caught up. That New Jersey dad that forced his 6-year-old to run on a treadmill. How many years did he get? I shared that back in the day. He got 25 years. I'm glad he got it because that was crazy. He forced his son to run on the treadmill until he had like a tear in his heart. Sad. But I'm glad he got to do some time because that was crazy. Noah Lyles, who just won a gold medal, says he has asthma, allergies, dyslexia, ADD, anxiety, and depression. But I will tell you that what you have does not define what you become. Somebody said that he said, "What that got to do with running besides asthma?" This was a sad story. This show I used to love on called David Makes Man. Star Achille McDonald was arrested in Houston for unaliving somebody. And that's so sad because his character was kind of like this person. I hope that is not true. Elon Musk's Trump supporting PAC is under investigation in Michigan. He said he's publicly stated that he created the fund and that the fund was gathering voter information. And so they just feel like the AI has been doing too much. A tragic crash in Florida claims the life of a pregnant woman and her mother. So sad. Alright, let's see what we got on Reddit. My husband said yesterday my podcast was too short, and I'm like, what? It was like over 40 minutes, dude. How long does he want me talking to y'all? The man said it was too short. I couldn't believe it. Alright. Adults, especially those over 30, how young does 18 seem to you? Pretty young. I got a niece that age. What is the thing that your parents consider normal and you do not consider normal anymore? Probably like having a dining room table, because like nobody really has dining room tables anymore. Nobody does all that anymore, but a lot of older people still have it. Somebody said being compelled to answer the phone. Having a landline is kind of outdated too. Not talking about any negative emotions. Yes, old people do not like talking about negative things. They say give it to God. Thinking your very shy kid will get less shy if you keep shaming them for being too quiet. Downplaying mental health. Drinking and driving. My friend's parents would pick me up with a scotch on the rocks, ashtrays full of smokes. That was the way of life. Even cops used to drink on the job. Going to work sick, basically putting work first at all times. That's a habit that I've continued to pick up that I can't break in this economy. Openly mocking your spouse. Alternative medicine. No, mom, you can't call a guy who can remotely heal your burn wounds. Some of them alternative medicines work, so I'm just telling y'all. Don't shun them. My mother has this unbelievably crazy system for sorting colors for laundry. It's not just whites, lights, and darks. It seems like every color rainbow she gets a pile. Also, everything goes in the dryer. Stopping by someone's house to visit unannounced. Forced physical affection. Coffee pot in the bathroom. My dad pays his bills by mailing a check. I haven't used a check in ages. My husband, he's still old school. Like, that cracks me up. Calling me out of the blue and being upset when I don't answer. Growing up, we had a sock basket, and after every load came out of the dryer, the socks just went there into the basket. It was up to you to find the matching socks. Them socks will disappear on you. What is a smell that comforts you? I love a nice dryer or washing machine smell. Love it every time. And a baked cake, of course. The weather in the woods after a heavy rain. Cutting oil meant my dad was home. Newly baked bread. Yes, anything baked smells so good. Smell of flowers and grass. Campfire. Clean bed sheets. I love me some clean bed sheets. The smell of rain. A clean house. I love a clean house. Sometimes when I clean my house, I like go outside just to come in and be like, yes. Because you got to know if your house smells good. Like, you got to. 100% the smell when you come to your house. Freshly baked cookies. Lilacs and honeysuckles. My cat's fur, yuck. Coffee, yuck. I hate the smell of coffee. My stinky dog. Somebody said coochie, and I don't mean cookies. Not a typo. You hear that right. Somebody said my wife. Somebody said vanilla is nice. Lemon pound cake wax melts. My boyfriend. New car smell. New car smell does smell good. Somebody said cigarette smoke. Yeah, that infuriates me. What is the worst way someone broke up with you? I have two bad ones. First one, he had his mom call me. Dang. Second one, we dated for 3 years the whole time. Told me he didn't want kids. I finally got on board with the idea of not being a mother. Less than 2 months later, he called me to break up because he was marrying a woman he knocked up. That's normally how I go. I found her via Facebook chat notification while watching something on her iPad. The pop down said something like, "Did you tell him yet?" from the ambiguous name called Madison or Blake. I thought it was a friend or something. I read the chats. Turns out it was some dude she was seeing on the side. He was in a band, but even better, he was a drummer, a skinhead. And he was a skinhead, and he also wore a kilt, like legit, like that look. Every girl's night out was going to go see this guy in the band play. Then they would bang in his car afterwards. She's planning on breaking with me after Christmas so she can get gifts out of me. Scotty doesn't know. Suddenly, he wasn't leaving his family's house and no one was allowed to talk to him via phone, so I showed up at their house asking to see him. Instead, his grandma sat me down at the kitchen table and broke up with me for him. He then proceeded to stop talking to me. To all of us, his family decided we were bad for him. A couple of months later, his new friends let him leave a party drunk and he passed away while driving impaired. I woke up one morning and I said I had plans with a friend, and my partner said he did too and would meet me back at the home for a movie date later. And we had a goodbye kiss and everything. Came home to all his things and he moved out. No response to text. I was pregnant at the time. A little later on, I found out that he had been married the whole time. I had to move states, pregnant, and start over in the basement with no windows. All the while, he was sending me nasty messages and then blocking me before I could respond. It was hands down the most depressing period of my life. That was depressing. He proposed the night before he left on a 3-month work trip, called me 2 days later from an airport to tell me he changed his mind about getting married, was extending his work contract for 7 months, and he'd never be returning where we lived. He sent the parents to pick up all his crap later. This is how fast I expect these people when they tell story times. Like, I really wish they would all go this fast. Probably being ghosted after years of seemingly solid relationship, it's like vanishing into air, leaving the other person to question their reality and their sanity. A particularly cruel form of emotional abandonment. That is cruel. Alright, let's get into what I got for these story times.
I just finished going through all of the documents in this court filing, so I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown on all of the allegations that are in here. Before I get started, I am just going to preface this. This is all alleged. This is everything that came directly from Javon's own declaration. So until there is a formal response to that from Kehlani or her attorneys, what this is going off of is just everything he was able to put in his declaration. This first page is basically him just saying he is giving this declaration instead of giving testimony, and that he feels everyone has a bigger say-so in decision-making around his daughter's life than he does. Now, page 2 is where things start to already get a little bit interesting. Kehlani gave birth to Adea in a home birth, and he is saying that already at that time, Kehlani was in a cult and that the home birth was orchestrated by the cult. Now, since it was a home birth, you're not at a hospital to automatically get a birth certificate. You have a certain amount of time to register your child for a birth certificate. But Javon is alleging that when Kehlani did finally register Adea for a birth certificate, she did not put Javon as the father on Adea's birth certificate. I assume that means it's just blank. I can't imagine someone else would be listed on that, but he says he is not on her birth certificate, and for the past 5 years, Adea is 5 years old, he has been requesting a copy of her birth certificate and asking to be added to it, and none of that has happened. Kind of on the admin stuff, he says he's not even sure if Adea has a social security number because he's been asking for it and hasn't received. Now, after this is when he starts getting into allegations of the cult members and the cult leaders with their daughter. I will get out of the way so you can pause and read, and I'm just going to give kind of a really quick summary of all of this after. Number 9, he is saying that for the past few years, Kehlani has been in a cult, and it appears that the cult is in control of her actions and behaviors around raising Adea. He goes on to say that the cult leader's name is Nito, and that Nito had a vision that Javon was a danger to their daughter, and basically kind of had Kehlani no longer allow Javon to see their daughter because of his vision. Number 12 does kind of reiterate what even Kehlani's friend had said about Nito in some tweets that I had posted earlier, which is that Nito does have accusations of SA against women and young girls. But just again to reiterate, Kehlani's friend said that her and Kehlani left this group over a year ago. He does say that when Kehlani toured in the past, he would have custody of Adea, but ever since Nito had this vision that he was going to harm his daughter, Adea is just on tour with Kehlani, being taken care of by these cult members, including Nito, while she's on tour and when she's busy. This gets into more really, I would say, uncomfortable allegations that involve their daughter, so I will get out of the way and then summarize. He goes on to say that Nito has been allowed to perform religious ceremonies on their daughter when no one else is present, and Javon did not find out about that until Adea's birthday last year, so March of 2023, and when he found out, he became so upset he had to become physically restrained by members of the cult because he just wanted to get to his daughter. He also says that there is a member of the group that Kehlani refers to as the Messiah, who is an adult woman. He alleges that this person, when under the influence of psychedelic drugs, takes baths with the child. He says that when Kehlani is on tour, Adea sleeps with, is bathed by, and is just in general taken care of and left alone with members of this cult. Sounds like he may still be not allowed to spend as much time with Adea ever since that vision, because on 19 he says, or on 20, he says he fears the respondent will continue to alienate me from our daughter. He goes on to say he is to understand that these cult members are on drugs, and he would prefer that she be in his custody and not allowed to be taken care of by these people. He needs the court to establish that he is her father because he is not currently on her birth certificate, and he is also requesting full custody due to Kehlani's busy schedule, her relationship with the cult that she is involved in, and the fact that she has told him that she is bipolar. He also would like Kehlani to undergo a psychological exam to determine if she is bipolar. I don't know what she has had done or not, but he is requesting that. He needs to be put on her birth certificate once established that he's her father, and he wants a copy of the birth certificate and her social security number, and he wants their daughter's last name changed to include his last name. He goes on to request child support since Kehlani and his income are very, very different. And kind of the last 2 points here, he says, I am not here to disparage respondent Kehlani. However, the environment that she has created for herself is not the type of environment that a child should be living in, and therefore I bring myself to the mercy and wisdom of the court to save my daughter before it is too late. For the aforementioned reasons, I pray that the court grants my request for order. Javon's order was filed July 24th, but on August 2nd, the court kind of responded and is ordering mediation for them. I just finished going through all of the documents.
I hope this stuff ain't true, but Kehlani, like I said, she's a strange bird, so I hope it's not true, but I hope that they all do what's best for the child.
Have you ever caught a conversation on your video doorbell that you wish you hadn't? Because that just happened to me. Last week, I made the difficult decision to end an 8-year relationship. It was a very difficult decision, made more difficult by the fact that we were in the middle of a full-scale kitchen remodel and that we were supposed to be going to Iceland this week. I'm in Iceland. He's not. He moved out last Friday, which was just a few days ago, and off I went to Iceland. But we have this kitchen remodel that's been going on forever. It's behind schedule. It should have been wrapped up by now, but it's not. So I made the decision to have the contractor keep working on the kitchen while I'm in Iceland in the hopes that when I get back home from the trip, the project will be done, I will have my kitchen back, and I can move forward with my life. While I'm here in Iceland, I'm still trying to do my best to monitor the situation a little bit, right? So I keep checking my video doorbell just to look at the comings and goings of the contractor to make sure that he locks up the door each night, just so I feel good about what's going on while I'm, partway across the world. So I happened to look at my video doorbell footage this morning and noticed that my contractor was coming into my home and one of my neighbors was following him. And I was like, why would she be following him into my house? Now, they know each other. A while back, she had asked if I had a contractor. I told her about this guy. He did some work at her house. So it's not like they're strangers. But I'm thinking, why is she coming into my home with him? And then I'm listening to the conversation, and she is gossiping about the breakup. She is speculating why this breakup has happened, and she's coming up with some wild stories, her assumptions of what she thinks happened that are incorrect. And I'm watching this whole thing, and I cannot believe that this woman is coming into my home uninvited, and that my contractor allowed this to happen, and that she's choosing to gossip with him about what's going on in my personal life. And she's asking him, well, why do you think they broke up? And he's like, I don't know. Why would my contractor know why I ended a relationship? Like, that's not the type of conversation that you have with your contractor. And I am just dumbfounded by how invasive and obnoxious this entire situation is. So I want to know, what would you do in this situation?
Number one, the contractor probably didn't want to be bothered with the lady, but people are just nosy. He probably was entertaining her. Number two, this is why I'm not friendly with my neighbors, because don't ever think you can come in my house. But they'll do it even if you're not home. I've had a house remodel before, and I've seen, people just come in and see what's happening in my house because the contractors just happen to have the doors open. People are just nosy like that. But, one, I'd stop being friends with that lady. That's what I do. But I don't blame the contractor.
So Mr. Beast had a problem. He just recently fired his longtime friend and co-worker, Ava Chris Tyson, for speaking inappropriately to people who are 18. -4. Let me give some of y'all a second. But that wasn't his problem. His problem came after he tweeted he was disgusted by Ava's behavior, and people started coming out saying, why are you disgusted? You knew. Now, why are people saying this? Well, because when I said longtime friend, I meant longtime friend. Even roommates at one point, way back to the days where Ava was Chris. Yes, if you didn't know, Ava is trans. Now, if you think that's relevant to this situation, then wisdom is chasing you, but you are faster. But see, here's where things start to get wicked, so I need you to really pay attention. People are also saying this is because Ava was doing all of this in public. This wasn't no private chat. All of this stuff was on a public Discord server and also all over Twitter. So why didn't anyone do anything about it? Well, in 2016, the internet was a very different place. So back when Ava was doing all of this, inappropriate jokes were running rampant. It was cool for people to be edgy. I never understood it, but hey. So a person who's 18 -4 hops into a Discord that Ava is a part of. They say, hey, I'm a big fan of Mr. Beast, word. He becomes friends with the crew. He starts working with them. He gets comfortable and starts making edgy jokes. Ava starts making edgy jokes as well. Weird ones like this, calling the people in the chat daddy, mommy, even the youthful people. Okay, now that you got the gist of this, you ready to take the story up a notch? See, the only reason this stuff surfaced was because some guy named Prism makes a YouTube video of himself sitting on a park bench saying all this. People lose it. So the youth that Ava was talking to, locking, you finna hear a few names. His name is Lava. He comes out explaining that most of the stuff that Prism guy was saying in that park bench video is just simply untrue. That the only thing that happened was they made weird, edgy jokes. The Prism guy knew that wouldn't sell, so he sprinkled in a bunch of lies. And you don't care if he lied or not now, because now you got tea. Rolling Stone magazine calls him to confront him about the lies. He calls Rolling Stone fake news and hangs up. Oh, so everybody should just be mad at the Prism guy and think Ava's weird? Nah, let's take the story up another level. Listen, there were so many lies and misinformation coming out that no one knew what to believe. But everyone could agree that what Ava did was weird. Whether you 20 people or 5 people, you're still a serial killer, you feel me? But see, there was more information that came out. There was an artist named Shadman who drew inappropriate pictures of people well beneath teens and his own mom, posting it online. Ava Chris was a huge fan, a public fan, commissioning artwork, buying artwork, posting it in the living room. Mr. Beast has been seen in a picture looking at this artwork. So it's safe to say he knew about the picture, which is why people are calling him a sympathizer. Personally, I don't like assumptions, only proof, and there's definitely enough proof to say Ava's behavior disgusting. There's a difference between being edgy and posting pictures of little humans in your living room. We can all agree, right? Good. So the story ends with Mr. Beast saying he's disgusted, she's fired, and he's going to do an investigation. And Ava apologizes if she hurt or offended anyone, which is the equivalent of saying, I love you. Sometimes. 0 out of 10. So Mr. Beast had a problem. He just recently...
So that's the story behind one of the Mr. Beast scandals.
Back out in the garage. Most important lock in the house. As a cop, I saw these cases. And it's usually kids. Remember the last time I told you that they fish a coat hanger through that crack? They grab this emergency pull cord, and then Stay in your house. They then shut your garage door, and then they got all day to work on this lock. Well, there's a new twist. Y'all got me out here in a thunderstorm. You know I love you, right? Pretend my garage door is not made by a moron, and this is all wood. Instead of fishing the coat hanger through, they bring a drill and drill a hole through your door. How to prevent the easy steal. If you park your car outside, get rid of this. Don't leave it outside. Garage door opener keychains. They're not expensive. They're in my Amazon store, links in the bio. When you first move in, take these little screws out. Go to the hardware store and get some wood screws that are about 3 inches long. I've kicked a lot of doors for search warrants. This simple fix makes it much harder to kick a door. I'm gonna start doing basic concealed carry videos on YouTube. And I mean like, we're starting at you know nothing. The link to my YouTube's on my bio. Please give me a follow over there.
I wonder if my husband will do these small changes like the wooden screws. The first key is to lock your garage door. And a lot of people don't even do that. They just let the garage down and come in the house. And, you know, there's always people prowling. You got to stay safe.
I really don't know if it's an angle or bucket. Ready? Bitch, that's one of them? That's one! That's one! I really don't.
He hit one waltz and thought he could hit 1,000. He hit one waltz with a broom and thought he could take them all out. Yeah.
There's been some issues in the area with some stolen vehicles and some burglaries and some other stuff.
Okay.
So that's
He
why
just got home from school. He's been here and he literally just left, like maybe 5 minutes ago to go up to Miller Park.
Okay.
So,
All right. Are you Michelle?
I am.
Okay. Also, you go by Michelle or you go by...
Michelle.
Okay. All right. Michelle, I need to let you know that you have a warrant for your arrest.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't you step down here for me? We'll get you some shoes. Okay.
What do I have a warrant for?
No, you have a warrant for predatory criminal sexual assault.
And let her know that as my she's come home and get my son.
Yep.
What's her number?
I can get it for you
Hold on.
right there.
Let me double lock these.
Okay.
Step forward for me. Just a second. There you go.
Yep.
Well, one was gonna have one in custody.
I'm just cracking my knuckles. I'm sorry.
Dude. Yeah, I don't know how.
You just swipe up on it. Yeah, and then you can hit the middle piece. Yeah, right there. Right there. Oh, you were on it right there. And then hit my love.
Look for my. Oh, that one?
Yep. And then call. So you're gonna put it on speaker.
Speaker. You want to bring my car around?
Yeah.
So was it really break-ins or is that a story?
No, that's a story.
Yeah, I figured.
So, go ahead and just take a seat for me, okay?
Let me call you right
No, I'm getting arrested.
Take a seat.
Why?
For that
Take a seat.
I'm trying.
Take a
So
seat.
what?
You're on speaker, okay? This is Sergeant Shively with the Bloomington Police Department.
Hi.
So, Michelle has a warrant for criminal sexual assault. So, she's going to be going to the county jail.
Why is she getting arrested? There's been like nothing.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Listen for me, okay? I'm letting you know that there was a warrant issued today. We are the middleman. I don't know anything about the case. We just go ahead and serve the warrants. Okay? So I'm letting you know that she's going to be going to the county jail.
Okay, where do I need to go?
Well,
You need to get Brayden. He's gonna be home. Michael needs to come home now.
where's Michael at?
He was going to Miller Park. That's who you guys ran into.
Okay. So do you have Michael's phone number?
Yeah.
Why don't you make that your first priority? Call Michael and go pick him up. Unless, how old is Michael?
So this person, Michelle Blessing, assaulted 2 children under the age of 13 and was sentenced to 87 years. Yeah.
Some lady just walked into my office and she was like, "Oh my God, I love your wig." I said, "Ma'am, this is not a wig. This is my real hair." She said, "Oh, it's beautiful. You know this shit a motherfucking wig." But I had to embarrass her because, bitch, you don't know. Get out my damn.
That wig look crazy. I hate when people say your hair look good and you know it look a mess.
Hi,
Steven. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I do want to let you know that the company has decided to end your employment with us effective immediately. Although you did submit a 2 weeks notice, we appreciate it, but our company does not have to honor that. So with that, we are ending your working relationship with us today. So what I would like for you to do, Stephen, is please log out of all company accounts and systems right away. So we will also need you to return any company property that you have, such as your equipment. And what we'll do is we'll follow up with instructions on how to return these items and details about your final paychecks and any other benefits that you may be entitled to at this time. So, Stephen, I know this is not information that you're wanting to hear, but I do want to thank you at least for your contributions.
Hey, excuse me, but I just put that 2 weeks notice in today. I sent it over to my team lead.
Understood. And we advise the team as well that we don't have to honor it. We don't. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end your employment with us effective immediately.
I mean, not shocking, but people swear they want 2 weeks notice.
You gonna let me sing to you, mommy? You gonna let me sing to you? You ready? You ready, mommy? Let me tell you something. Mommy. My whole life has changed. Mommy, since you came in, I knew back then you were that special one. Mommy, I'm so in love, so deep in love. Mommy, you made my life come. Baby, you are so sweet. Mommy, no one can bring. I'm glad you came into my life.
How cute is that?
Humming can humming create nitric oxide in the body?
It absolutely can. What they discovered is that humming increases that NO production by 15-fold.
Not 15%.
15 times. I don't believe this. When I come to Stockholm, I want you to demonstrate that in front of me. And they did. They have devices that measure nitric oxide production in your nasal cavity, all kinds of sophisticated instrumentation. Did it with no humming, they did it with a little bit of humming, they did it with lots of humming, and sure enough, the more you hummed, the more nitric oxide you produced, and it went up to 20 times.
Define humming. Does it need to be?
There you go. Hum a little more so you can get a little. Yeah, produce that nitric oxide. All right, guys, this is your show today. Yeah. Y'all have an amazing day, and we'll be back.